The movie opens up with a montage of scenes that details the heroics of legendary warriors named as the Guardian Messengers. They were responsible for transporting merchandise from one town to another. They would protect the goods with courage even in the face of danger. Surrender was never an option, no matter what obstacle they had to face. Even among the Guardian Messengers, there was a group dubbed as the Five, who were the strongest and most respected by all. 10 years ago, the Five was given the responsibility of taking the imperial decree of war all the way to a distant town. They had to cross the infamous Mouth of the Tiger, a mysterious pathway that is infested with robbers and harsh climate. As the warriors made their way across this notorious road, the clouds covered the moon and the entire area became dark. They were forced to use their glowing eyes technique to illuminate their way. But, as soon as they did so, a terrifying sight came to light. Standing in their path were thousands of thugs, ready to loot their packages. A fierce battle broke out, and initially the warriors were overwhelmed by the sheer number of the thieves. But just as everything looked bleak, Master Yang, the swordsman in the group, used his flying dragon technique to defeat all the enemies. The decree was delivered in time, and everything returned to normal. The scene abruptly shifts, and we see the person narrating the story. A little boy wearing a tiger hat. This is Tiger, an 11-year-old local boy who works in a nearby courier agency. He is enjoying the oohs and ahs from the audience that are listening to his story when suddenly he is interrupted by a drunk man named Scalio. He questions the kid's authenticity, pointing out that the latter is too young to know the real story of the Five. In response, the kid says that he is the descendant of the legendary warriors. Tiger even has a seal sewn to his vest that proves that he is actually telling the truth. The kid then insults the drunken man for being a good-for-nothing bum, which obviously angers Scalio. Fortunately, this back and forth is broken up by Liu, Tiger's elder cousin who also works at the local courier shop. Liu has a task for the little kid: deliver a handcrafted vase to a local businessman. The kid, who is always daydreaming about being a guardian messenger, readily accepts this task. We then get to see that Tiger is not an ordinary 11-year-old. He actually does possess astonishing power, like the ability to run extremely fast. He bolts off across the town market, trying to deliver the package as soon as possible. But he is a kid after all, and soon begins to run into various obstacles that leave a huge mess in his wake. Tiger does deliver the vase in one piece, but ends up breaking several antique items in the businessman's house. That afternoon, the wealthy businessman comes to the courier agency and confronts the owner, Mr. Pao Bia Shi. He gives Mr. Pao an ultimatum of a week to pay for all the damages done. If he doesn't get proper payment, he will make sure the agency can no longer operate in this town. Poor Tiger is forced to apologize in front of everyone, and even promises to work for half the money for an entire week. But since he is a kid, no one takes him seriously. Mr. Pao scolds him and warns the boy not to nurture stupid dreams like becoming a guardian messenger. In a flashback scene from a few years ago, we get a little peek into the history of little Tiger. His parents actually were part of the Five and left him in the care of Mr. Pao before going for a dangerous mission. Back in the present day, Mr. Pao's two sons, Lu Sun and Liu, are discussing their next job. It involves transporting a special breed of pig to a nearby town. However, the road to the town goes through a mountain pass which is a hub for dacoits and sadistic thieves. The two brothers start quarreling over who should be in charge of this dangerous mission. Tiger, who is listening to them from nearby, sees the opportunity to redeem himself. He quickly grabs the pig, right underneath the nose of the two quarreling brothers, and bolts away. The little kid wants to deliver it all by himself and prove to Mr. Pao that he is worthy of being a guardian messenger. Turns out, the pig is actually a wedding gift from a wealthy businessman who has married off his daughter into the neighboring village. He had tasked Mr. Pao's agency to transport the animal which will be traveling along with the wedding convoy. The convoy includes the groom, the bride, and several servants who will walk all the way to the village. So now, little Tiger is in charge of looking after the pig as the convoy slowly travels to its destination. It is an extremely boring and slow job, but things quickly become spicier. The convoy reaches the mountain pass where it is attacked by 6 dacoits, led by a bearded man claiming to be Blackbone. This name sends chills down the spine of the servants and the groom, as Blackbone is almost a mythical but ruthless criminal. Soon, the groom turns his horse and runs away, leaving the servants to defend the bride. Blackbone then sends his men to abduct the girlfriend and whatever treasure the servants are carrying. The dacoits pay no attention to the pig or the little kid who is guarding the animal. Unfortunately for them, that small boy becomes the reason for their failure. Tiger may not be able to fight or wield any sword, but he is extremely quick. The servants get overwhelmed by the armed dacoits, and it looks like the bride will soon be abducted. Just then, Tiger remembers the famous motto of the Five: work in honor and promise to deliver. He is desperate to prove his worth and wants to complete his job by any means necessary. So, he grabs the leg of the bride and zooms off the mountain pass with his lightning pace. Blackbone stands on his way, trying to stop the boy from leaving. But the thug is blown off by Tiger's sheer speed and comically falls down the side of the mountain. In a matter of a few minutes, Tiger delivers the bride. Then, he goes back and grabs the pig and delivers it to the required destination. After finishing his work and defeating the Blackbone unknowingly, the kid returns home with his chest puffed out. He puts 5 silver coins on Mr. Pow's desk and says he received 3 more silver coins as bonus for his bravery. Mr. Pow, who loves the kid but doesn't show it outside, chastises Tiger for being reckless. However, their argument is soon interrupted by a wealthy businessman. This is the same man who had tasked the agency to transport the pig across to the neighboring village. He expresses his gratitude to Mr. Pow for not just doing his job but also protecting his daughter. Now he wants to hire Tiger to transport a very essential document, all the way to a faraway village. Mr. Pow refuses to do so, as he wants to protect the little boy. But the businessman offers 1,000 silver coins, which would more than cover the agency's losses. A decision is then made. Tiger will accompany Lu Sun and Liu to the faraway village to deliver the package. Elsewhere, we get to see the real Blackbone, a 7-foot-tall giant man sitting in his throne. The dacoit who had been impersonating him earlier is actually his godson, Shinsu. Blackbone gets news that someone defeated and threw Shinsu off a mountainade. He then orders his men to find the culprit so that he can crush whoever is responsible. When everyone is asleep early next morning, Mr. Pow visits a nearby shoe repairing shop to meet an acquaintance. This longtime friend of his turns out to be Scalio, the drunk man who was debating Tiger a day ago. It is then revealed that Scalio's full name is Scalio Yang, and he is the legendary master of the Flying Dragon. He was once a part of the mythical group The Five, but for some reason, he now prefers to stay away from martial arts. It is obvious that some tragedy befell the group, and Scalio has never recovered from it. Currently, Mr. Pow tells his old friend about the task he has been handed. He requests Scalio to lead his sons to the faraway village and help him pay off his debt. The latter, however, refuses the offer because it reminds him of his days in the Guardian Messengers. With no other option left, Mr. Pow then says that the mission also includes the child of his ex-teammates from The Five. Scalio now feels obliged to go on the journey, not for his own glory, but to protect the kid. The following morning, the team is ready to head off to their journey. Bags are packed, a caravan is readied, and maps are studied. Scalio soon joins the group and gets shocked when he realizes that the kid he is supposed to protect is none other than the boy who he was arguing with a few days ago. He gulps down his anger, but Tiger refuses to go with Scalio and even refers to him as drunken bum. Fortunately, Mr. Pow convinces the kid by promising to give him a metallic seal, which would officially make him a part of the Guardian Messengers. On the other hand, Scalio's wife also comes to bid her husband goodbye. The two talk briefly, during which she hands Scalio his own Guardian Messenger metallic seal. In the meantime, we see that Shinsu, who fell off the mountain pass, is actually still alive. He has been hanging by a tree branch several feet above the ground below. His cries for help are heard by a lonely farmer who had been walking through the pass. Meanwhile, the group of Scalio, Tiger, Lu Sun, and Liu start their journey to the faraway village. They walk gingerly as the two brothers push the cart carrying the businessman's packages. Everything seems to be going to plan initially. Everybody does their job while Tiger bores everyone with his stories about The Five. Soon afterwards, Scalio decides to show a glimpse of true martial arts to the little kid. He takes the businessman's package and challenges the kid to snatch it. Tiger tries his best, but even with his blistering pace, the kid is no match for Scalio's trickery. The latter then begins lecturing the kid about discipline when suddenly the kid takes advantage of the distraction. Tiger bites Scalio's hand, effectively snatching the package. Not satisfied with this, the kid bolts away, giddily teasing Scalio for losing the challenge. The drunken master follows the kid until they come across a sketchy-looking bridge. This is when the group follows their first test, as there are 3 dacoits blocking the bridge. Everyone is afraid, but Scalio has a simple solution for their problems. He chucks a bag of coins towards the dacoits, and asks to allow the package to safely cross the bridge. Surprisingly, this plan works, and the dacoits retreat back to their caves. Unfortunately, Tiger, who is unhappy with paying off the goons, comes forward and starts yelling at them. This prompts a full-on skirmish between the two parties. Eventually, Scalio has to jump in between and use his sword skills to beat off the dacoits. The two brothers are injured in this battle, and the drunken master is forced to confront the little kid. He points out that because of Tiger's carelessness, everyone almost got killed. Following this incident, Scalio takes the package to himself and tells the two brothers to take Tiger back to town. The kid is tied up and out in a horse carriage back to his home. As Scalio makes his way to the faraway village on his own, the kid begins to cook up yet another plan. He sees Lu Sun and Liu sleeping and wriggles out of the carriage. Tiger then uses his blistering running speed to catch up to Scalio. The drunken master realizes that he will never be able to shake off the kid. So, the duo then begin their journey to the faraway village on their feet. As days pass by, Scalio teaches the kids several forms of martial arts. He teaches Tiger how to punch, deflect attacks, and use his speed to fight the enemy. They also get chased by Blackbone's goons while having lunch in a local diner. But, whatever challenges lie in front of them, the duo manage to overcome. Everything seems to be going to plan, until one afternoon they reach a vast desert with no sign of help anywhere around. Scalio, in particular, seems to be extremely worried about this stretch of their journey. Nonetheless, the duo get into the desert and slowly but surely start to put miles behind them. This is when things start to go south as they are attacked by the Desert Clan. These goons use specialized wind-powered wooden vehicles to circle their prey before crushing them. As the battle rages on, the thugs begin to gain advantage because of their numerical superiority. Scalio is forced to once again turn back the days of his glory and fight them with his sword. He even whips out his famous flying dragon technique, slishing several enemies at once. On the other hand, Tiger sneaks into one of the wooden vehicles. The kid then plucks Scalio from the middle of the battle and runs away to safety. Unfortunately, the goons are relentless and they chase the duo from 3 different directions. The Desert Clan also has special weapons, homemade dynamites that produce large amounts of smoke after explosions. They throw these dynamites at Tiger's vehicle, but the kid manages to evade every attack. However, our hero's luck runs out as the escape path is blocked by 2 giant rock formations with a small crevice in between. Tiger manages to squeak his vehicle through to the other end, but the goons throw several dynamites in the crevice. Many explosions ring out through the desert and thick black smoke engulf the crevice. Fortunately, Tiger and Scalio come out of the other end, alive. The whole chase has taken a massive toll on the kid who is on the verge of passing out. Scalio grabs the kid and runs as fast as possible from the rock formations. He realizes that they are short in water, and the sun is unrelenting. Despite all these odds, he manages to put a great distance between him and the Desert Clan. That night, Scalio makes a camp on the edge of the desert. The camera pans back to the crevice, and we see that the rock formations resemble the head of a tiger. It is then revealed that this is the infamous pathway known as the Mouth of the Tiger. This is the same place where the 5 fought a gruesome battle several years ago. While Scalio is talking to himself, reminiscing about the past, Tiger comes back to his senses. The kid also hears the drunken master talking about his parents. Tiger begs his mentor to tell the whole story, and the latter begrudgingly agrees to do so. Turns out Scalio was close friends with Tiger's parents as they all worked closely as the Guardian Messengers. They were part of the 5, and had been on several missions together. One fateful night, as they were delivering their package to a town across the desert, tragedy struck. A member of the Guardian Messengers, who was jealous of the achievements of the 5, betrayed them. They were ambushed by a group of ruthless dacoits who had a huge numerical advantage. Despite trying their best, the heroes were on the verge of being wiped out. This is when Tiger's parents handed Scalio the package and told him to run away. With no other option, the young Scalio ran, leaving his friends to fight and eventually be killed. Back in the present day, Tiger is left stunned as the ramifications of the story fully dawn on him. The kid realizes that his parents are dead and they will never return back. He gets extremely emotional and refuses to believe that his parents are no more. Tiger grabs the package and bolts into the desert all on his own. Distraught, Scalio tries to stop him, but the kid is just too fast for the out-of-shape drunken master. He eventually catches the kid, who passes out only a few hundred meters away. The following morning, the duo cross the desert and make it to the nearest village. They are now only a short distance away from their destination. Just as they are having breakfast in a local tavern, several of Blackbone's goons attack them. Scalio fights them off while Tiger, who is still hurt from yesterday's revelation, runs away with the package. He is followed by 3 goons on horseback, but they are no match for the kid's speed. Eventually, Tiger reaches a ropeway and gets into a carriage that carries him across a deep cliff. This is when the kid's luck runs out, and he is ambushed by Blackbone's goons who had been waiting for him. They capture and take him to a large fighting pit where Blackbone himself is waiting. Unbeknownst to them, Scalio, the master of Flying Dragon, is close behind and has noticed them taking the kid away. The scene shifts to the fighting pit where the giant Blackbone challenges the little Tiger to a fight. However, things are not as dangerous as they seem on the surface. Blackbone is not actually a great warrior, but simply a giant who has never faced a worthy opponent. The kid creates chaos using his speed, which exposes the notorious criminal's weakness. The bumbling Blackbone stumbles around the arena and eventually knocks out a cauldron of fire all over the place. The whole arena is set on fire, and Scalio, who had arrived only a few moments ago, sneaks the kid out.